what we're looking for is a moving average crossover with a pullback to the slower moving average. Right. So let's do the crossover first. And there we go. There's our crossover solver. Connect that in. There we go. So SMA 5 and 21 period crossover. So let's go into input A and we'll change this SMA to the 5 period. Click OK. Go into input B and we'll switch this over to the 21 period. Like so. All right, so there's our base setup conditions there, right? The crossover conditions. And so now we need to look for this pullback situation here. So what I'm going to do, right, is obviously the pullback happens, several bars later. So we need to take this crossover setup signal and extend it forward long enough, for that pullback to occur. So to do that, I'm going to use this function node, the signal extender, right? So we're basically going to extend these crossover, right, setup signals, extend them forward there. So we can see on this short cross down, it doesn't quite get all the way over there. So let's increase this. Let's see, how many bars do we need? 11. All right. So 11 will do it. So I'll just leave it at 11, right? So, but when you're trying to figure out, okay, how many bars do I need to extend for, right? That's something that you'll kind of have to figure out for yourself there and ask yourself, okay, how long should you be waiting for that pullback to occur, right? Obviously, you're probably not going to want to wait forever, right? There's usually probably going to be some kind of limitation there on how many bars that crossover signal is good for in order for that pullback to occur, right? Then at some point you just abandon that setup crossover, and just wait for the next crossover, right? And so that's kind of what the signal extender does is, right, it sets a limit for how many bars, your setup condition is good for. All right, so we have that. We'll move that back a little bit. Next, we need to actually identify the pullback, right? So in other words, in this case, what is a pullback? Well, that wick needs to touch the slower moving average. I'm not sure if that wick actually touches. So we'll stretch this out a little bit. Right. That wick touches, but not sure if that one. We'll find out here in a moment. And obviously that wick touched our slower moving average. So to set up that wick touching a moving average, or basically a bar touching a moving average, is a comparison solver. All right. So input A is going to be the bar prices. And so in this case, we're going to use the high price and the low price of the bar. And input B, that's going to be our moving average. So let's put in the SMA 21 period there, the slower moving average. And what we're looking for are these bars that have a long and a short at the same time. Right? So we can see, right, this bar is touching. The next bar is touching, and we're getting a long and a short. And actually, it just so happens, yeah, that wick did just barely touch that moving average, and we can tell because it has a long and a short output together, right? So now we want to filter out those bars that are touching. So, but first, let's name this here. So this is identifying bars, right, touching the SMA21. So now let's filter out those bars. So in other words, we want to get rid of this short output by itself, right? And vice versa. We want to get rid of the long only outputs as well, right? So to do that, we can use a function node called the long short modifier. And there's a couple of different modes we could use. We could use the minimum mode. There we go. The minimum mode finds, right, isolates those bars. Let's see. The difference mode. Actually, no. Sorry. Oh, wait. Yeah. Not difference. Where is it? Product. There we go. Product does the same thing. All right. So I think most people will tend to understand the minimum mode a lot easier. So there we go. So I'm just gonna name this whatever mode it's set to. All right, so there's our bars touching there. And so now we need to combine these two conditions together. So we'll grab an AND node. Right, so there's our setup condition. Right, our moving average crossover setup condition. And then we add in our bar touching. And there we have it. Oh. And so we can see, actually, yeah, we had two touches here within that, right, that setup extension. So here, let me put, I always like to put the number of bars the signal extender is extending for there. There we have it. So, and then to clean this up even more, right, because, right, we actually have two short signals here because we did get two pullbacks there. So if you want to kind of clean this up, then what we want to do is we want to turn off the signal extending, right? So once we get our first bar here that touches, so once that first bar touches, then most likely you probably don't want to see any more signals if the next bar touches, right? Because actually there's probably a good chance where you get, right, where you get a bunch of bars touching, like, right, boom, 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 boom. And so to eliminate this second signal, right, to get rid of that guy, what we need to do, right, the best way to do this is to turn off the signal extender, right? Turn the signal extender off after this bar touches, right? In other words, reset the signal extender. So what we can do is, let's see, we're going to grab a look back function node. And this look back function node, we're going to use the displacement here. Right. So if we connect in, right, our bar touching logic here, if we connect that in, let's take a look at it. Right, you'll notice, right, we know this bar is touching, and we know this bar is touching, but look, the output is displaced by 1, right? So this signal here, we'll use this signal to turn off the signal extender, or reset that signal extender. So now let's take a look. So here's our signal extender, right? And so if I connect this, and also, yeah, let's look at the other one here as well. Yeah. So we can look at both of these here. There. And so now, if I connect in this reset signal, connect it to the reset, and oh, yeah, interesting. So, yeah, that makes sense, right? So when our moving averages are crossing, right, we're going to have bars touching probably both moving averages, you know, if not the slower one. Yeah, so if we look at this, right, yeah, we have 2 bars here touching the slow moving average, and so that is turning off our signal extender immediately. Let's see here. So yeah, so what I need here is I need a function, or I need some logic here that will prevent, right, these bars touching at the crossover. We need to basically remove them from our reset signal, right? We need to, remove them from our reset signal here. Yeah, because, right, we have those, right? Those are problematic. And then also these are problematic when we have the cross up. Yeah, let's see here. Okay, so there's a couple of ways I can go about this. Yeah, all right, I'm going to go about it this way. So let's take a step back here and look at this crossover solver. Right? So there's our crossover signals, pretty straightforward. Now, built into this crossover solver has a look back period. And effectively what this does is if I increase it, right, it takes that crossover and extends it forward in time. You know, just like what the signal extender is doing, right? But the reason why we're using a signal extender is because we can turn the signal extender off, right? It has this reset, right? You cannot reset a crossover solver. So with this look back period, basically this is permanent, right? So if I set this, you know, to 11, there you go, right? It's doing the same thing as our signal extender, but we cannot turn this extended signal off. So that's why we're using the signal extender. But what I am going to do is I'm going to set this look back period to 2, right? And that should be enough bars here for those touching bars to no longer be touching, right, the slower moving average. So I think 2 bars is enough. You know, again, these are personal settings here that you'll have to figure out for yourself, you know, but maybe you might want to go up to 3, right? But at least, you know, for where I'm for where we're working on the chart here, 2 looks like it's enough. So I'm going to set this to 2. And then the signal extender, I'm going to back that off by 1. There. Okay, so we're looking at the signal extender again. And I'm just making sure, right, that our setup signal is extending to the same area, right, which was, remember this bar here that we know is, oh, hold on, disconnect that. There we go. Sorry, disconnect that. There we go. So this bar, right? Yeah, so remember at the beginning, I knew that this bar was touching. So we set this up to extend all the way out to make sure that this bar was picked up, right, as a pullback bar. So I'm just making sure that our signal extension is the same length, right? So I'm just double checking that, I look back at 2 combined with a signal extender of now 10 bars is still getting us to the same point as it was before. Okay, so now, so I was going to make this a little more complicated, but actually this is working now. So yeah, there we have it. We get, so our signal extender turns off, right, on that first bar that touches, and then it turns off there. So actually, yeah, that'll do it. All right. I actually was going to make something a little more complicated here, but actually looking at this, I don't need to. Yeah, it looks like I don't need to. So what I was going to do is I was going to take, right, this signal extender here, and I was going to use that to block or interfere with our reset signals. Right, I was going to use this and basically disable or turn off our reset signal so it's not resetting the signal extender, right? But what's happening is so we have the crossover and the signal extender, right, is there's an output on right, so we have an output here and an output here, and let's see, let's take a look here. Yeah, so this is the reset signal here, right? This is the reset here, and we can see we have a reset here and we have a reset here, right? So we have a reset on the first crossover bar, but there's no reset on the second one. So this second output from the crossover is what's being extended by the signal extender. Yeah, right. So this second signal gets through to the signal extender. Yeah, see, there we go. So that second one is going through to the signal extender, and there is no reset here. Actually, yeah, let me do this. There we go. This will help us visualize. Right, so these are the reset signals. This is the crossover. Right, these are the crossover signals. So we can see we have a crossover that does not have a reset on it. So therefore, our signal extender is not getting reset. Right, so the signal extender is not getting reset on this extra bar here. Yeah. So there we go. That does it. So that's the base system there. And from this standpoint, it's really just a matter of, figuring out, again, how far, how long, how many bars do you want to wait for that pullback to occur, right? So it's a matter of customizing the signal extender. And also, I guess, depending on the bars you're using, you might have to adjust the crossover solver's look back period. So that way the these reset signals, right, are not interfering with the crossover signal, or not interfering with the signal extender. Yeah, so Drew was assuming we use the signal counter to only allow one signal per crossover. So no, actually, if you only want to allow one signal, the better choice, I'm trying to move this forward, the better choice would be to use the signal blocker, right? The signal blocker is specifically designed to allow only the first signal through and then block the rest. Yeah, I mean, I could have used the signal blocker instead of this reset logic. Here, yeah, let me just kind of, let's see. Yeah, I guess this is the only place I have to work with here. Yeah, so if I disconnect our reset, right, so there you go. So we have our two signals, and then I could have just thrown in a signal blocker and be done with it. That's the quick and dirty way to do it, signal blocker. The proper way would be, as I showed you, to turn off the signal extender, right? That's really the proper way of doing it. So, but either one will work. All right, yep, that's exactly what these workshops are for there, Drew, to help you work through and, slowly grasp, thinking more logically. At some point, you'll have enough understanding where you'll just start whipping this stuff out on your own. All right, so it looks like we got Drew's question taken care of.